It's interesting. I didn't one day wake up and say, I'm giving up drinking. I just, like many Brits, had a very, very boozy December. Christmas time, I was on vacation, I was drinking a lot. And I've always been able to drink a lot. I think I get my genes from my mum's side in that thing, that I can drink. And I decided to just give up for January. I just wanted to do dry January. And all I could think about was having a drink. It's all I could think about. I was waking up thinking about it. I was checking the clock. When's it 12? And it just really scared me. I just was like, wow, maybe I have a little bit of an alcohol thing. So I sort of decided to punish myself and say, I'll do February as well. I'll do 2 months off. If I can do 2 months off, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. 2 months go by and I was still really struggling. I felt like I couldn't be social. I felt like I couldn't go to the pub and have a lime soda. I couldn't go out for dinner. I was really, really struggling. And I started to really worry that maybe I had an alcohol problem. So I decided that I would wait until my birthday, which is June 1st. I said to myself, if I can do 6 months without alcohol, then I can prove to myself that I don't have a problem. And by the time I had got to June 1st, I was the happiest I've ever been in my life. I could sleep better. I could handle problems better. Things that would go wrong on set that would normally set me off, I could take in my stride. I had such better mental clarity. I felt healthier. I felt fitter. And I just sort of said to myself, like, why am I enslaved to this drink? Why am I so obsessed by the idea of having this drink? And I would look back and recognize that I would go to events for work and be like, I can't enjoy myself until I've had a few beers. And I just felt so much pressure. And this is one of the things why I've sort of distanced myself from the rugby community, because so much of it is about how much can you drink? Let's get you as drunk as possible. And it's honestly been the best thing I've ever done. I'm a year and a half into it now. It doesn't even cross my mind. I've found amazing replacements that I think are fantastic. Ones that are also really healthy. I found this one beer that is full of electrolytes and it's, the carbohydrates in it are long-lasting energy. So like having a beer is now actually like a really healthy thing. I'm really lucky that all my friends are super supportive about it. I've never run into that scenario where my friends are like, oh, go on, just have a beer, like you're fine. They've always sort of really supported me. And I don't want to be that person that's saying to people, you should get sober, you should get sober. If I could encourage someone to drink less, then that's great. But I don't want to start getting into the world of you need to stop drinking, because it's not for me to say. I went on my own little journey. I'm really enjoying it. I'm delighted that my mum's has also given up. She's loving it. And it's been amazing. I can't believe the difference that I feel from not drinking. Yeah. I feel amazing.
Tom Holland once got so drunk and hammered that he called the CEO of Disney crying, weeping, and pleading to save the Spider-Man IP and keep him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and away from any direct influence at the hands of Sony Entertainment and their little Spider-Man cinematic bubble. And although this call may have aided in the overall negotiations talk between Disney and Marvel, and perhaps helped keep Spider-Man where fans enjoy him the most, it was certainly one of the lowest points in Tom Holland's professional career and life in general, at least the lowest point that we know of until now. But things are slightly different. Tom Holland's journey to sobriety was not an easy and forgiving road full of rainbows and sunshine. It was a rocky few months that slapped some harsh reality checks back into him, as he realized he was not merely addicted to alcohol. In his own very telling words, he was completely enslaved to the drink. It got so bad that it started affecting Holland's mental health and worsening his anxiety to the point where he couldn't have fun at parties and events without downing a few bottles first. How did Holland get out of this insane situation? And how did this addiction affect him mentally and almost destroy him as an individual? Let us find out together. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Masterpiece. Today we're diving into Tom Holland's struggle with alcohol addiction and how it affected his anxiety. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or this is your first time here, I'm thrilled to have you join me. In this video, we'll be exploring its characteristics.
But yeah, I wonder for you, did you find that there's a really fine line between like, oh, I know I can drink a lot, and then all of a sudden, you're kind of not addicted beyond that?
No, addicted, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy to say, I was definitely addicted to alcohol. Not shying away from that at all. I think anyone that wakes up and anyone that has a beer every day is probably got a little bit of a problem. But yeah, you're right. I would drink and drink and drink and drink, and then you would just reach that moment where you're like, wow, I shouldn't have had that last beer. And you wake up the next day and you have a terrible headache and you're suffering. I bought one of those rings that will tell you about your sleep.
Yeah, Aura ring.
Yeah, and it was amazing because I couldn't
yeah.
sleep. I was like, why can't I sleep? I'm working 14 hours a day. I'm doing 2 hours in the gym. I'm eating really healthily and I can't sleep. What's wrong with me? I bought this ring and it was booze. It was completely affecting my sleep. And since I've given it up, I can sleep anywhere, you know? It's also interesting as well, going on nights out and having a great time as the sober person, and then getting to that point in the night where people start, you know, spitting in your ear and everyone's like, I love you, man. I love you so much. And you're like, yeah, brilliant. I love you too. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Like, I love being that person now.
Yeah.
I love seeing my friends on the golf course at 8 a.m. in the morning, feeling fresh and ready to go, and they're sort of crawling out their car. And so I'm over the moon to be sober. I love it.
Yeah, for anyone who is listening right now and is going, Tom, I love that for you, I want to do it too. Like, they're listening going, I'm having too much every day, I can notice some of those things, but I'm just stuck. And it's hard because we know that addiction's that way, we know that this is heavy, it's not easy. But if someone is watching going, Tom, tell me, like, what did you do to even get started? How did you have that courage to say, I'm going to do January, I'm going to stick at it? Were there any moments where you actually fell back and then had to get back on the horse again? Like, just walk us through that a little bit more for anyone who is watching going, Tom, mate, I want to be in your position in like 6 months.
I didn't fall back on it. I have done in the past. Like, I've had periods of my life where I'd given up drinking and then gone back to drinking. But this time, I don't know, it was just different. I really worked to sort of change my mindset. I really asked myself, like, why do you drink? Why are you drinking? And a lot of the time, my answer would be to feel more comfortable in a social environment.
Yeah.
And I just put myself in those environments and just would force myself to be there. I'd force myself to hang out and go to a club or go to a bar, go to a dinner.
Yeah,
and
so you weren't avoiding those places.
I was at the beginning because I didn't feel like I could go and not have a drink because of the stress of it. But then after a while, I sort of was like, mate, you've got to pull your socks up here, and you can't just live in your house all the time. You've got to go out and enjoy yourself. And if you're only enjoying yourself because you're drinking, then you really do have a problem. But I just changed my mindset.
It is safe to say that Tom Holland currently is one of the most prominent actors in Hollywood. He gained notoriety by playing the role of Spider-Man in one of the biggest movies the Marvel Cinematic Universe produced, and then went on to star as that character in a very much beloved trilogy. He carried his name from the MCU and proceeded to star in countless other passion projects and films, with other talented actors and under the supervision of equally talented directors, with the latest upcoming film putting Holland in the hands of critically acclaimed director Christopher Nolan. But when the lights shine the brightest, the timid mind darkens and looks for a way to hide from the spotlight. Holland often dulled his mind with alcohol to help with his anxiety issues, stemming from the fact that he has to meet important people on an almost daily basis, attend important events, and always has to present himself as a star to the ruthless media that has its eye open 24/7, even social media, and the constant need for validation mixed in with the endless comments hurled at him from strangers who knew nothing about his daily struggles kept Holland in a chokehold as he reached for a way out. This was all a bit much for Holland, and alcohol helped get through these tough and exhausting situations. So he drowned in his addiction in order to push away his mental health struggles. But that didn't help, and never would have. In fact, it possibly made things worse for Mr. Holland. Alcohol addiction has been linked by experts in the mental health field to raising levels of anxiety and even inducing it in cases that lack the mental health issue in the first place. Anxiety could be one of the many symptoms expressed by the body as a result of alcohol addiction, or it could be the result of the body yearning for more alcohol if the victim stays away for too long. It doesn't matter what way you would like to put it, but it is clear that alcohol addiction and anxiety are linked to one another. Holland opened up about his anxiety affecting him to this day, with the most recent thing being his bizarre behavior, as he would like to describe it. That found its way into his relationship with Zendaya. Holland is not a social media person, and he often deletes the apps when he is not using them, but he gets so anxious and afraid about what other people are thinking about him, and especially about Zendaya, that he can't help himself sometimes but Google his girlfriend's name and make sure everything is alright. Holland has now been sober for more than a year, and although his mental issues continue to linger on despite him dropping his alcohol addiction, he still feels better than ever and has reached a point where he couldn't imagine his life with alcohol anymore. It is a whole different world, and he quite enjoys living in it at the moment. And who could blame him, really? It is good that the addiction never reached a point where he became violent or expressed insanely bizarre behaviors that continue to be the talk of celebrity gossip circles. The only thing affecting him currently to an annoying degree is his severe anxiety that he is already dealing with himself, having a good support structure with the help of his girlfriend Zendaya, and pushing himself to confront these stressful situations with nothing numbing his mind has made him come a long way to being more comfortable in the most uncomfortable and stress-inducing situations. Holland thinks he is a changed man, and he plans to keep it that way for the betterment of his future.
I think that's one of the problems with alcohol, is that if you came out with alcohol right now, if alcohol wasn't a thing, and you like, I've invented this drink that is gonna make you like either really happy or really aggressive or really stupid, and we're gonna just sell it to the masses, people would be like, nah mate, keep your funky juice, like we don't want that, that sounds terrible. And it's one of those things, because it is so socially acceptable, the addiction side of it, the bad sides of it, really do fly under the radar.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting. I'll tell you something I do love about being a non-drinker. I love being the designated driver.
Yeah.
I love being that person that makes sure that everyone gets home. I don't know, I like being a dependable person. I think I'm quite dependable, and I really like that thing. And I saw this crazy YouTube video once, this was years ago, of a guy that went to a bar, he got drunk, and he drove home, and he crashed his car. And I don't know if this is real, it could have been fake, but it's really impactful. Basically, what his friend had done was set up the room as if he had been in a coma for like 10 years. And his friend wakes up hours after the crash, and his friend is there, and he had all like old makeup on to make him look older. And now I'm thinking about it, there's no way this could have been real, because how would they have been able to pull that off? But he basically is saying to him, like, you've been asleep for 10 years, everyone's missed you, like, we can't believe you're awake, this is amazing. And it shows like how a stupid decision like driving drunk can affect the future of your life. So I do love being the designated driver. That is something I enjoy. Seeing my friends have a good time and being like, don't worry, Tom will take you home. Yeah.
And there you have it. I hope you found this video helpful and learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to stay updated. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover next, make sure to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.